It's a seriously disturbing story, even one involving Marjorie Taylor Greene. My name is Dina Doll for the MeidasTouch Network. Let's break this down. The Ohio Attorney General has issued a statement saying that the 2020 campaign manager for Marjorie Taylor Greene fundraised for a phony charity. Essentially, if you remember the East Palestine train derailment back in February, where people were, trying to raise money to help the victims, he was fundraising for a phony charity. The money was supposed to be going to a food bank. Instead, it went into the pocket of him and others. Allegedly, as we say, the Attorney General has issued this statement. The Attorney General is a Republican. So talk about hypocrisy and a new low here for Marjorie Taylor Greene. This was the campaign manager that did the heavy lifting that initially got her elected to Congress. And as we know, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. If he was willing to be this corrupt when he was dealing with victims of a tragedy, you wonder what other corruption he had. And perhaps this will become more investigation into him and his practices. And will it implicate her anymore? We don't know. But let's break down what's happened with him. And also, let's talk about how Marjorie Taylor Greene talked about that event at the time, East Palestine. If you remember, she was accusing the Biden administration of not doing enough for East Palestine. And her tweets, ironically, let's hear what she says, the hypocrisy here, says they give money to Silicon Valley, they give money to Ukraine, but no money for East Palestine. And this is here her very close associate raising money, again, for a phony charity. Evidently, they raised almost $150,000. The food bank only received $10,000, literally stealing from victims who were displaced, who were suffering as a result of the toxic spill and the evacuations of this derailment. It was a major catastrophe. But this is what she is tweeting. And as we know, there's always a disconnect, right, between what is actually happening and what she is alluding to. So this is yet another example. And then her complaining, again, Biden didn't go to East Palestine, Ohio on President's Day. He went to Ukraine, a non-NATO nation whose leader is an actor and is apparently now commanding our United States military to world war. We must impeach this America last fool before it's too late. Where is your vitriol? Where are these kind of statements regarding your campaign manager who stole from victims, literally stole from a food bank? People who donated that money were really trying to help. It seems like there's crickets. She had a lot to say, about Biden. And here's the thing, too, is her own kind of immorality around this, that she took this kind of national, really tragic event and made it political only because the residents there had overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Because we see right now what's happening in Maui and the horror, the destruction of a town and one of the now the deadliest wildfire ever in the country. And you don't hear it from her now, right? You don't hear Marjorie Taylor Greene asking what's happening with the Biden administration. Does she not care because they're Democrats? Somebody who makes human tragedy political should never be in public service, because human tragedy should just be that and not an opportunity to gain points. There's a reason why Biden is not flying over to Maui right now, just like he didn't fly over to East Palestine when that happened, because they don't want him there. It is too difficult. They want him to send FEMA, which he does, and he did, but they don't want him. And she knows that. I know that, you know that. She certainly knows that, being in Congress. So to take advantage and to use that as a political weapon is just like another low of immorality. People's suffering shouldn't be political twos. So let's read a little bit. The statement is just brutal. The Attorney General, this Republican Attorney General, calling out her campaign manager and the people that she works with and how they literally stole from the people of of East Palestine. So, he says that the investigation found that the phony charity had been soliciting monetary donations for bottled water for East Palestine residents via text messages following the February 3 train derailment, and that it had collected more than $141,000 from donors nationwide, people out of their hearts digging into their wallets during these economic uncertain times, still willing to donate because they're trying to help people. And this is who her campaign manager and his associates took advantage of. Not just the victims there, but also the donors who were trying the best they could. And it was only after the food bank complained did Peppel agree, this is one of his associates, agreed to pay the $10,000 to the food bank, a fraction of what had been collected. So he said that there's a settlement with the quote charity, because this is a fake charity, as we say. And one of its board members, Patrick Lee, that settlement required the fake charity, which is OCWF, standing for Ohio Clean Water Fund, to dissolve and to pay $116,904.88 in restitution to the food bank and a $15,000 civil penalty. Since that settlement, a court-mandated review of OCWF's bank records, invoices, payment records, and other financial documents show that the phony charity and its fundraiser had actually raised nearly $149,000, and that OCWF used WAMA Strategies as its main fundraiser. So under today's settlement with Peppel and WAMA, again, the Isaiah Wortman is associated with WAMA. He was the fundraiser, one of the fundraisers for this charity. So under today's settlement with Peppel and WAMA, this is according to the statement released by the Attorney General, Peppel must pay a $25,000 civil penalty and is permanently banned from incorporating, operating, or soliciting for any charity in Ohio. WAMA and its owners, Isaiah Wortman, that's the campaign manager, and Luke Mahoney, his associate, must pay $22,000, $77.48 in restitution to Second Harvest, that's the food bank that they claimed they were raising money for, allowing the Attorney General to distribute to the food bank 100% of the donations raised in its name. It seems like it should just be obvious. WAMA and its owners must also pay $3,000 in investigative costs and fees to the Ohio Attorney General's office. And WAMA is prohibited for 4 years from soliciting for a charity in Ohio. And Mahoney is prohibited for 4 years from incorporating, operating, or soliciting for a charity in Ohio. So this is a very stringent, very serious a settlement at this point. It's not just an accusation, it's an agreement, it's a settlement. There's both sides are basically agreeing that yes, this happened and this is how we're going to resolve this issue. So, again, where is Marjorie Taylor Greene and her outcry of her campaign manager? I'm sure she's close with him. Again, he was the one who initially got her elected to Congress and who's so corrupt. He's willing to steal from victims and actually really from Trump supporters, her own supporters. He is stealing from his own supporters on so many levels, morally, ethical, and obviously illegally wrong.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.